Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Les Brown's Motivational Monday Night Call, your place for motivation and inspiration by the world-renowned speaker, author, coach, the one and only Mr. Les Brown, Mamie Brown's baby boy. My name is Dr. Stacey N.T. Grant, and it is a privilege and pleasure to be your host for these Motivational Monday Night Calls. You can connect with Mr. Brown on Facebook at brown.les, that's brown.les, or visit lesbrown.com for more information on how you can stay connected. Some new and exciting things getting ready to roll out to close out 2018 and prepare for 2019 being our best year yet. So I'm so excited that Mr. Brown is able to be live on the call tonight and share a message of hope and inspiration with you. So let's go ahead and check the microphone. Mr. Brown on the ones and twos. Can we hear you, my friend?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, and excited to have you here. Can you believe it is almost halfway through the 12th month of 2018? Where did the time go, Mr. Brown?
Let me share something with you. I have absolutely no idea. I tell you, oh my God.
It went too fast.
It really, really has picked up speed, and the time that we're living in. I constantly refer to Alvin Toffler, who wrote the book Future Shock, that things will change so rapidly in the future, he said, that people will literally be in a state of shock. And so there are people that are shocked, in a state of shock right now, and don't have a clue as to what to do about their personal finances, about things that's happening to them and their family, about their careers being interrupted, about the fact that there's no longer anything such as job security, just so many things that are happening, things happening in the family. The suicide rate has increased tremendously among young people as well as adults. And when I was a kid, you didn't hear anything about black people committing suicide. That was something that we didn't do. And so, but there's such a shift that has taken place, the violence, the bizarre behavior. I saw on the internet where this teacher was singing the national anthem and cutting a student's hair. I said, come on. Or in New York, where police had surrounded a mother who was tired of standing in the welfare department with her baby, 1-year-old child, and she sat down on the floor, and security called the police, and they were jerking and pulling the mother and the 1-year-old child out of the mother's arm. It was just horrible, horrible. The level of insanity that's been released on the planet, unlike we've ever seen before. We have never seen this level of madness. So I want to talk tonight about preparing for 2019, the year of your dream. There's some preliminary things that must be done. And over the next few weeks, I will focus on those things, and some of my guest speakers will focus on those things. So I'm ready. So let me go up in here, up in here. Hello, everybody. How are you? I'm so glad that you've joined us. I want us to look into 2019. And I want you to think about something that you want to do, something that's important to you, a goal that you are going to achieve. Notice I didn't say want to achieve, but I said going to achieve. I think it's very important that we not just be hearers of the word, but be ye also doers of the word, to call forth those things that be not as though they were. That philosophy has governed most of my life. And at this stage of my life, at the 74th year on the planet, when I look at some things that I've been able to achieve, traveling to over 51 countries around the world, being able to impact millions of people's lives around the world. They did an organic Google search, and it revealed that I've reached over 3 billion people. That is unprecedented, and it's something that when I started this venture, I had absolutely no idea where it was going to lead to. It started out in my mother's living room. It started out with me rubbing my mother's ankles as she talked to me and told me stories about her childhood. And as I look back and reflect on those days, I had no idea that those stories and my listening and paying attention while my brothers and sisters were out playing and having a good time, my desire to entertain and engage people and inspire people, and having the personality of my mother and being penalized in school for talking too much and put back from the 5th grade into the 4th grade. And one day a teacher punished me by locking me in the closet at school and told me to come out when they started chanting dumb twin, dumb twin. And I wouldn't do it. I stayed in there and refused to do it. But that penalty of them constantly jumping on me, talking about the fact that I talked too much and was disruptive in class, that they had no idea, and I had no idea, that one day I would be recognized by Toastmasters among the top 5 speakers in the world, along with General Norman Schwarzkopf, Robert Schuller, Paul Harvey, and Leah Iacocca. That one day I'll speak to over 80,000 people in the Georgia Dome. That one day I would address audiences all across the world. And I'm saying to you, and I don't say this to you to impress you, but to impress upon you that things that you can do that you don't know that you can do right now, and that there are things that as you commit yourself to a goal and a dream that you will accomplish that eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has entered the heart of mankind what God has in store for you. And just because you've had some setbacks, and I've had my share, just because you experienced some tragedies, and I've experienced my share, just because people said that you couldn't do it and you even doubted yourself, and I've gone through that myself, I'm saying to you, your dream is possible. It's possible. And what's important is that you focus your mind. What's important that you align yourself and get on the path that would move you in the direction of your dream. What's important that you judge not according to appearances, even if you have failures, even if you have setbacks. Willie Jolly had a point. A setback is a setup for a comeback. Even if you don't have $2 to rub together. I used to sleep in my car. I used to sleep on the couches of friends that I knew in pursuit of my dream when I was going from city to city. That things are going to happen to you. You're going to be rejected. You're going to be turned out. People who say, oh, you can count on me, and they won't be there. There are people who will lose faith in you. My children, they just stopped believing me. They thought I was going to die a few months ago. I disappointed everybody. Hey, that's a part of the process. And here's what I'm suggesting to you. Ask yourself on the question, am I on the path? Am I doing that which I'm supposed to do? Is what I'm doing me? Is it me? Am I in alignment with the calling on my life? And if you don't know that, experiment until you find it. That's what life is about. I believe that we were all created on purpose, for a purpose, with a purpose. There's a work that you are supposed to do, that I'm supposed to do, that Stacy's supposed to do. That's our assignment. I don't think that we were just created at random and supposed to come here and work and stress out over bills and have children and then just die one day. No. Most people, when they die, there's no trace after a month that they ever lived. No, I said, no, I want to make a difference. I want to make an impact. And I believe that the reason that you're listening to me, that you feel the same way, is you want your life to count. And so I want you to listen to me. Number one, live life like you mean it. And a life that you're living like you mean it is a life that you put some thought into, a life that you put some energy into. It's a life that you take some time to reflect on. So let's look into 2019. Let's get a jump start right now. I want you to think about what it is you want to do. What's important to you? What do you want to do personally? What's a goal that you want to achieve and that you're going to achieve? And your financial freedom number, because you need some money. It gives you choices. It gives you more ability to control your destiny and to call your own shots. You need walk-away money. When people get on your last nerve, you can walk away. And you need to decide what contribution are you going to make. What is it that will be different on the planet because you showed up? And one of the first things that I'm encouraging you to do is embrace a safe space and mutual support. Create a safe space and mutual support for yourself. What do you mean by that, Les? Well, when teams play football, baseball, basketball, you name the sport, they talk about the home court advantage. Why? Because when you're at home court, the teams that play at home win 80% of the time. Now, so you want to create a safe space, a home court advantage, a place, first of all, in your house, a place where you will study, where you will read, where you develop yourself, that you sit down, you think about what is it that you want out of life, and you make a list of those things, and then you give yourself a team. You surround yourself with supportive minds, supportive thoughts, supportive skill set that you don't have, and people that will work with you for the manifestation of that goal and dream. Who are those people? This is the time as you look into 2019. My son John Leslie has a quote which I love. He asked the question, as you look in 2019, and as you set up and look at the goals that you want to achieve, and you write those goals down, because when you write them down, that engages the subconscious mind. When you write them down and you review them on a regular basis, then that programs your mind, because if you don't program your mind will be programmed. But you got to ask yourself the question, because you can't do it solo. You're going to need a team. So the question you have to ask yourself, as you look at your family members, as you look at your friends, ask the questions: who should I count out and who should I count on? Come on now. Who should I count out? Because there's some people that you know that's seriously not serious. There's some people that you know that don't have goals and don't have dreams. That you go around in your neighborhood and you knock on 10 doors or 25 doors and say, hey, show me your written goals. I guarantee you that very few people will be able to say, oh, I got them right here. See, if you want to create a blueprint for what is it you want out of 2019, create a action plan, write it down. What is it you want? What radical change must take place in you for the accomplishment of that goal? I remember when I started out and I decided that I wanted to become a professional speaker, I gave myself a goal of memorizing a certain number of quotes a day. I gave myself a goal of reading 20 to 30 pages of something positive every day. I gave myself a goal of listening 3 to 4 hours a day to Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, Paul Hart, Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Adam Clayton Powell. I gave myself a goal of studying the great orators of that day when I was coming along that I admired, Leon Sullivan out of Philadelphia. I gave myself a goal, Benjamin Hooks of the NAACP. I just watched and I studied people that I admired, their oratorical skills. So whatever area that you are interested in, Glenn Turner, Dare to Be Great, Bill Bailey of Best Line Products. Whatever goal that you're interested in, find out, look at, do research on the icons in those areas. Study them. Watch them. I used to drive 200 and 300 miles to go see Zig Ziglar. And anytime it was a seminar or workshop that I could invest in myself, I took it. I used to drive from Columbus, Ohio to Cincinnati to watch Dr. Otis Moss from Olivet Institutional Church because he was a student along with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. at Morehouse. And I heard in the recording that Dr. King said that Otis Moss was the greatest preacher in the world. I said, what? I thought he was the greatest. And he spoke so glowingly about Otis Moss. I said, I got to hear this man. And I went to hear him, and the first time I heard him, I couldn't speak for 5 to 6 months. I said, I'm going to keep my mouth shut until I can speak like that. So set some goals for yourself and find somebody that's doing what you're doing, that you want to do, and that have the skill set that has accomplished what it is you want to accomplish, plus more, and carve out time about what is it you must do to do that. Because at the end of the day, first you got to work on your mind. That's number one. Why is that important? Well, that's because people don't live life as it is. They live life as they are. You have to work on your mind. You have to have mental resolve and determination. I've seen people who have far more talent than I have, and far more intelligent, and far more educated, and they just holding down a job. Wasn't even thinking about becoming an entrepreneur. Wasn't even thinking about it. And had more intelligence in a little pinky finger than I have in my whole body. And I'm encouraging you to become intelligently ignorant. You don't know what you can't do. You don't know enough about who you are to be a cynic about your potential. I didn't do what I'm doing for 14 years because I was suffering from possibility blindness. I didn't know that I didn't know, and I thought I knew. The worst combination you can ever deal with is arrogance and ignorance, when you don't know that you don't know and you think you know. And that's a pervasive disease. And so as you look at your goals and dreams, have a goal of having a ritual of working first on your mind. They did a study of some top achievers around the world and millionaires, and they wanted to know what was the common denominator among them. What was it that they had in common? And what they found that 85% of them reached their goals because of their attitude, their mindset. 15% because of their aptitude, their education, their knowledge, their skills. Your mindset is very important, so that when life knocks on the door, when you go through some tough times, when you face some rejections, when you have some failures, and that's going to happen, you'll be able to handle it. And so have a ritual that you're going to work on. That's that safe space, a place where that you turn off the radio, you turn off the television, you turn off your phone, you turn off your computer, and you focus on you. Dr. Howard Thurman said there's something in each and every one of us that waits and listens to the voice of the genuine in yourself. It will be perhaps the only guide you will ever have or hear. And if you cannot hear it, all of your life, your days will be spent on the ends of strings that somebody else pulls. If you don't work on your mind, you will have a limited vision of yourself. If you don't work on your mind will be programmed by this world that tells you more about your limitations rather than your potential. If you don't work on your mind, when you don't use it, you lose it, and you can't put a big dream in a small mind. I'm suggesting that you begin to develop a larger vision of yourself. I'm suggesting that you live out of your imagination as opposed to your history. Einstein said the imagination is the preview of what's to come. Get a vision of what it is you want to do with your life and hold that vision. See it. see it complete. See yourself living it. I saw myself speaking in stadiums, and I've done it several times, not only in this country, but around the world. When I was in Poland, I'll never forget when I spoke there and 30,000 people started chanting. I was with Nick Vovich, and as we came in, tears of gratitude filled my eyes and tears of sadness as well. Tears of gratitude that these people recognized my gift. These people said that I spoke and transformed their lives. And then I thought about friends and family members and people that I've known for years who could not hear my voice, who are living their fears, who are living the opinions that others had about them or the negative conversations they told themselves. People who had far more talent than me, people that I'd learned from. I had tears of people that I knew that are no longer with me now and who gave up, who died an unfilled life. I had tears for people who had so much education and knowledge and skills, and they were living a misplaced life. So work on your mind. The other thing is that's important as you look at yourself. Create support. Find out, as John Leslie asked the question, who should you count on and who should you count out? Who is it that you can count out, that you should count out, because they're going to compromise your power? And who should you count on? There are people, as Kirk Nugent would say, that are always there when they need you, but when you need them, you can't find them. And I can tell you one of the key things to my success, I just surrounded myself with achievers. I don't spend time with people who don't have big goals and dreams. One of the things, and I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two. I've been here for 3/4 of a century. So listen to me, millenniums. If you're serious, get out of an entertainment-driven mindset and get into an achievement-driven mindset so you won't have to end up working at Walmart or someplace where some community agency have to provide for you the bare necessities of life, of food, shelter, and clothing. Get into the mindset of living an achievement-driven life by surrounding yourself with OQP, only quality people. The average American, by the time they reach age 65, because they have not worked on their minds, because they have not surrounded themselves with achievement-driven relationships, most of them have a net cash value of $250. $250. Just think about that. Living in the wealthiest country in the world, something's wrong with that. And the reason that I say that most people are stuck and not doing more and not achieving more because they have a limited vision of what's possible for them. Even though people died and went to jail for us to have access, many people are not taking advantage of it. There are more people that are celebrating that marijuana is legal in their state so they can go get high rather than celebrating the fact that they have the ability to make some choices about their future and the direction that they want to take their career in. They want to. You think the government has your interests? Give me a break. No, absolutely not. And we're living in a country where they track and determine the number of prisons that they build based upon the failure rate of African-American males in the 3rd grade. If you can track failure, you can also track success. And so as you look at yourself, look at your goals, you've got to take matters into your own hands, and you've got to tune out the madness. And it's everywhere. When I came up, we only had ABC, NBC, and CBS. Now there's everything. Everything. And so this is a time that you have to really protect your mind because there's so many distractions. There's so many disruptions. that can take you out of your game, that can take you off the path, that can derail your dreams if you give your attention to them. And so create a space where you can think, where you can hear yourself, where you can listen to the still small voice within. That's very important, so you can hear yourself. I remember being in a situation where things were not working out for me, and I had made mistake after mistake after mistake, and I was living in Columbus, Ohio. I was a disc jockey. I was a community activist. I was very controversial. And I was over at Tune East Sunoco on Mount Vernon Avenue, and I was talking to a friend of mine named Porky. And it was as I was lamenting about what I was going through, down on my luck, and life was kicking my butt, he asked me a question. He said, "Are you learning anything?" I said, "What'd you ask me, Porky?" He said, "Are you learning anything?" And that stopped. That made me reflect, because Robert Boyd, a friend of mine who came to my house one day, and I got upset with him, and I was living in the Crossroads Apartments right off Sunbury Avenue, and he said, "Leslie Calvin Brown, things are not going to get better for you until you get better. Things are not going to improve in your life until you improve." Whoa, two friends who cared about me, two friends who loved me, and two friends who told me what I needed to hear, not what I wanted to hear. They didn't even talk about what I was going through and who I was blaming. They talked about me. What did that song say? It's me, oh, Lord, standing in the need of prayer. And so you have to ask yourself, as you look into 2019, the year of your dream, what radical change are you going to make in your life? What radical change? What will be different about you? What relationships will you no longer participate in? That it works for them, but it doesn't work for you. They bring no value to your life. They soak up your time. That's your most important commodity, your time. You don't have time to spend time with people who don't have nothing and don't want nothing and not doing anything about this situation. I remember I was doing a training in Chicago, and this couple used to come together. And at this time, when I came, she was sitting on one side of the room, and her husband was sitting on the other. So I went over to him and said, "Man, why aren't you seated with your wife?" He said, "Man, she left me because I don't have anything." I said, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that." And as I was walking toward her, and she said, "I heard what he said." She said, "I didn't leave him because he didn't have anything. I left him because he didn't want anything. And I wasn't willing to settle for that." Come on, somebody, as Del Toro McNeil would say. Yeah. So this is a time. You have to look at your relationships and ask the question, are we living together or dying together? Is this working for me or working for them? You have to ask that question, because this thing called life, it's serious business. One phone call can change your life right now. One phone call can change your life right now. A friend of mine got a call. Her 19-year-old cousin hung himself with an extension cord. One phone call. Nephew's out of here. And so as we look at ourselves and look at our goals, that we're being saturated with negativity every day. And a lot of people are escaping through entertainment. No. A lot of this stuff is not a laughing matter. It's very important to create a place where you can hear yourself. I was talking to my mentor, Mike Williams, the author of the book, The Road to Your Best Stuff. That's a gift. I'm encouraging you. Get this for yourself and for the people that's going to be on your team and people that you care about. The Road to Your Best Stuff. I wrote the foreword to it. You can get it on Amazon. The Road to Your Best Stuff. And as I was talking to Mike, he said, "Oh, Brownie, I got to go now. I've got to go meditate. He takes time 3 times a day. He meditates at a certain time, quiet listening, stilling his mind, quieting his spirit, going within. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. Where's that kingdom? It's in you. It's in you. Get still, going within, spending time each day listening to the still small voice within, spending time each day getting quiet. I call it my God time. I don't do anything but just spend time saying, here I am, Lord. Speak to me. Thy servant heareth thee. And looking at those relationships, surrounding yourself with people that's going in the direction where you are going. You can run faster with 100 who want to go than with one around your neck. And don't try and convince anybody that you know to change the direction of what they're doing, because people, until they get sick and tired of being sick and tired, until the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, they will never change. I'm telling you what I know. I'm 74. I'm telling you what I know. Until they hit a rock bottom, and their bottom is different than yours, you'll be wasting your money, your time, and your energy until they come to themselves, until they wake up one day. As a friend of mine named Dwight Pleasure, when he woke up and he saw himself in a crack house on a floor and on a carpet smelling of urine and feces with other crack addicts, and he looked around and he got up and he called his sister and said, send for me. He had gotten to that point in his life that he came to himself and said, this is not me. And some people do it in a year, some 2 years, some people go to jail, and some people don't do it. And they die with all this stuff, all their gifts in them. We've seen it. You have something special. You're listening to me because you know everything that I'm saying. You're listening to me because everything that I'm saying is already a part of you. You're listening to me because you and I are cut from the same cloth. You're listening to me because you want to do something big with your life. You want to make a mark with your life. You're listening to me because you want to live a meaningful life. A meaningful life, a life that counts, a life of contribution, a life that will make an impact, a life that will build a legacy. I spent time today working on a global franchise to leave for my children and my children's children, that when I'm gone because of holograms, I can still be teaching a class from my ashes, because I'm going to be cremated. I don't want to be shut up in a casket. I'm claustrophobic. No. Go ahead on and light me up. And sprinkle my ashes over Liberty City in Miami, so I can still be in the hood. Hey, let me tell you something, because we all going to go. But I say you were sent here for a reason, on purpose, with a purpose, for a purpose. Don't live a small life. Don't be a volunteer victim. Don't underestimate yourself. You're greater than your circumstances. You're greater than your bills. You're greater than anything that you have gone through. You're made in the likeness and image of God. Remember that. You've been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth. That includes being sexually abused. That includes getting out of physically abusive relationships. That includes extracting yourself out of a life of poverty. That includes expanding your vision, stepping out of your head and into your greatness, because you got it like that. Great is he that's in you than he that's in the world. Yeah. Yes, you do. You got it like that. Sometimes life can knock you silly and senseless. And because of the distractions of life, and we get so caught up in it, we forget who we are. You have something special. You have greatness in you. And create a safe space, a team of mutual support. We'll talk about the next step next week. Here's something I want you to do in the meantime. I want you to call 7 people. 7 people. Between now and the end of the year, for many people, it is the most depressing time. They start thinking about loved ones that are no longer here. I want you to call 7 people. Help me give people a voice of hope. Call 7 people and encourage them. Send them a link to watch Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome. You deserve. It's possible in getting unstuck. Make it easy for them. Find somebody to help you if you don't have the technological skills to do it. And just say, I want you to see something and do it yourself. 7 people. Why? We can reduce the suicide rate. More people kill themselves starting on the 24th until January the 2nd. More people commit suicide during that period of time than any other time of the year. Think about that. And I say, because of those negative thoughts, as they listen to me on a regular basis, and I'm not making this up, I'm telling you, I get emails from across the country. I never go to an event that somebody don't come up to me and say, thank you, thank you, thank you, Mr. Brown. You saved my life. And I find it very humbling. And I just thank God that I was in a place that I spoke and they heard me. I spoke and he came through. It's a humbling experience. And I'm so glad that I listened. I'm so glad I answered the call. There's a calling on your life. There's a calling on your life. There's a calling on your life. Get still. Get quiet. Tune everything out. Say, speak to me, Lord. Speak to me. Speak to me. Speak to me. I don't know what I'm doing. Speak to me. I need to hear your voice. I had to do that. I remember sitting on the floor of my apartment, Crossroads apartment on Sunbury Road in Columbus, Ohio. Going through a tough time, just got fired for editorializing about police brutality. It's a case of the Kahiki incident. Police beat up a Vietnam veteran while holding his baby, and I talked about it. This is 1978. They fired me. And there I was. It was a thunderstorm. The lights went out. And I was in my apartment, sitting on the floor. I had a tree stump. I had not even gotten furniture yet. I'd just gone through a divorce. I said, speak to me, God. Talk to me. Give me a sign that you're real. Tell me what to do. I'm hurting too much to think. Please help me. Help me, God. Talk to me. Talk to me. I stayed in that apartment for a week. Didn't come out. And then I heard the word. The least that you do unto these, my brother, and you do it also unto me. I heard the word. Just because you got fired because you spoke up for my children, don't think it's over for you. I heard the word. Keep on helping people. That's why I put you here. I got your back. all things work together for good for those who love God and for those who are called according to his purpose. Yeah, there's a higher calling for you. Yes, regardless of what the outside world is saying, your circumstances or your situation, greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. Regardless of what your mind is saying to you right now, I know he'll never leave you nor forsake you. You have something special. You have greatness in you. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Answer the call in your life. That's the gift that the world needs now. Stacy?
Woo! Hey! Mr. Brown, I had to just check the lines. It was on fire. What a word tonight. No one can sleep comfortably being average. They're going to have to turn up the volume and play full out. Thank you so much for the time you took tonight to share your passion with reminding every single person that you come in contact with to answer the call on their lives. Thank you so much, Mr. Brown. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about that. And I know that you need to make another commitment right now, but I will open up the lines and you'll be able to hear the recording so that we can just see what takeaways, what actions everyone who listened to your call tonight will take as they close out 2018 and prepare for 2019 being their best year yet. So I thank you again on behalf of everyone.
Yeah, but there's two things I want people to do. One, I want them to get your book. Tell them the title of it.
Action, despite the distraction.
Action,
7 life lessons. That's right. Despite the distraction. Yeah. 7 life lessons on how to
thrive. Despite the distractions.
That's just right. Yes. Despite it.
I need you to remind them where they can get that and Mike Williams' book, The Road to Your Best Stuff. But action, despite the distractions. I want you to remind, get that. Give a gift to yourself. That's a powerful book. Give a gift to yourself and give it to friends that you care about and the members of your team. And this will be your greatest year ever. It's time to crank it up and take it to the next level.
Absolutely. We can hear the fire in your voice, Mr. Brown. And truly, it is an honor to be able to not only know you, love you, and work with you, but to learn from you so that I can take what you have poured into me and deposit that in everyone that I am able to serve. And those of us who get a chance to be with you at the live trainings, to sit at your feet and listen and learn on behalf of all of us, because I know I can speak for each and every one. We are forever grateful for how you see a bigger vision for us than we can even see for ourselves. And you took the time to invest in us when others don't necessarily want to share their platform and their opportunity. You have opened doors and created space for us to walk in our greatness. So I just want to thank you for that.
Oh, and thank you. And I was playing with my grandson today, and I said, as I was listening to things that are coming through the news, I'm here in another space that's not my space because I don't spend time watching the news, and just saying, you know what, I've got to crank up. I've got to take my impact to another level. I've got to get other people to join with me, to stand with me. I'm not going to leave this world in the shape that it's in for my grandsons and granddaughters and my 4 great-grandsons. No. I've got to work harder, and I can do more. I can make a greater impact. I know this to be true. I have not done all that I can do. I've got to use my time more strategically and not listen to conversations of nonsense and keep the main thing the main thing. thank you so much. I appreciate you, all your love and support. And from now until next week, I'll be eating hot pepper on a fork, and I'm going to get the butter from the duck.
I know that's right, Mr. Brown. And I love you back, and there's nothing you can do about it. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard Mr. Brown. We're going to allow him to exit so he can keep his next commitment. But I will open up the lines for literally 2 minutes, so I need you to speak quickly and clearly. Make sure you have your 7 people. He gave you a couple of directives tonight. So I want to hear the action, the specific action that you're going to take as a result of listening to what Mr. Brown shared tonight. And by the grace of God, we will all be together again for part 2 next week. So you want to tell a friend, bring a friend, tweet it, text it, post it for Les Brown's Motivational Monday Night Call. So stand by while I open up the line, and you'll be able to leave a quick message for Mr. Brown to listen to when he gets a chance to unwind later. Stand by for me, please.
You are now muted. You are now muted.
Okay, family, the line is open, and I'd like to repeat the 2 books, The Road to Your Best Self by Mike Williams, and my book is Action, Action Despite the Distraction. Both are on Amazon, and that's by Dr. Stacey N.P. Grant. I hear our first caller. Go ahead and tell me the action you're going to take so that Mr. Brown can hear it and know you're committed to the greatness inside of you and the call on your life.
Hey, Dr. Grant, I'll go first. It's Andre.
Hey, Andre. Great to hear your voice. So what's the action, my friend?
Good. The action, I like the who can you count on and who can you count out. So I got a lot of people to count out so I can move forward. So that's the action I'm going to take. I'm going to go through them and get rid of them.
All right. I love it. Absolutely. Because life is too precious and too valuable, and you are too amazing. Thank you so much, Andre.
Thank you, Dr. Grant. Love you.
Love you more. All right, family. Who's next? Real quick, we want to get as many of you in as possible before we close out tonight's call. What's the action you're going to take as a result of what you heard Mr. Brown share?
Dr. Grant.
Yes. I hear 2 people, one at a time. You know, my nerves not so good as I'm climbing the ladder.
Who you can go first.
Hello,
All right.
This is Phyllis Page. I got a lot out of this today. It was just like I got a whooping on the day. Sometimes we got to, how they say, you got to take the bitter with the sweet. And
all right, so what's the action?
You take that down on the inside, it's good to the belly. It might go down bitter, but it's good to the soul. And right now, thank you, both of y'all, Mr. Les Brown and Dr. Grant. Y'all have been a blessing in my life. Y'all don't know what y'all did for me on the night. Because I appreciate out of that to be, like I said, being a better me. Being a better me.
All right.
And taking people out of my life that I need to be, not be around, to be a better me.
God bless you. I love the action. God bless you, too. And go get working on my gumbo now. But God bless you.
Okay.
All right. I heard someone else standing by. Go real quick. What's your action?
Dr. Grant and Mr. Brown, this is DeAndre White out of Griffin, Georgia. And it's funny how he said, the one thing I got from what he said is that one of the main things he did was he surrounded himself with achievers. And my mentor and I talked just on yesterday, and I told him that I only had 2 goals going into 2019. And one of those goals is to surround myself with people that are just as successful as he is, if not more successful, and to close more sales. So
all right. I love that action.
He and I are going to be talking this week. He said we're going to be meeting. So I'm feeling myself with achievers.
I know that's right. Congratulations, and I love that action. Thank you so much. And I'll take one more caller who wants to share their action as a result of listening to Mr. Brown tonight. I saw one more line open. You can go now, right before we close out. Just make sure that you press star 1 or we won't be able to hear you. Unfortunately, it looks like your line. There you go. All right, real quick, you made it in. Go ahead.
Hey, I made it in the nick of time. Hey, Kareem Ellis, Cincinnati, Ohio, your fellow platinum speaker.
Hey there, Kareem.
Always.
Great to hear
Well,
your
how
voice.
are you doing? It is great to hear your voice as well. It's always good to hear the mentor doing his thing. You always walk away with so much. The action here, man, for me is to live full and die empty, that we can't take it with us. So our job is to pour it out, that we're here with a purpose, for a purpose. And our job is to walk out and finish that purpose. So absolutely awesome call. And as always, can't wait to hear him come back on next week and rock this room.
Awesome. Well, always a pleasure hearing you, my brother. And thank all of you for tuning in and being a part. Make sure you bring a friend, tell a friend. Go out and be amazing. That's what we're depending on, because you already have greatness in you. This is Dr. Stacy signing off. Have an amazing week and an even better life. Bye-bye for now.